I'm about. All right. Welcome everybody to episode number 5 of the season 9 RBN Podcast. I'm here with my co-host Car Mushroom 2, vxAlex,
Yo, what's up?
and former co-host of the Spartan Analysis Podcast, iiSpartansii.
Bro, I'm blessed to be here. Thanks for letting me return, sir.
God bless.
God bless America.
Amen.
Okay.
Anyway,
What about Canada?
Bro, Canada? What is that?
It's like okay if you want to like feel better about yourself, and because they always say sorry. You never can feel like you did anything wrong.
Are you Canadian, Alex? Is that? Oh, it's cool.
okay.
Oh, my
Anyway,
bad.
let's get to RBC stuff. So, season's about to end. The only game we're waiting on is Mount Adams Knights versus New Alexandria Spartans Game 2, which will be a great game. But all of the playoff matchups are set up, and just overall, what are you guys expecting from these playoffs this season?
You go.
I think it's gonna be a lot of competitiveness and tight games. I think these playoffs will definitely contain more extra inning games than we've seen before in previous playoff matchups because there is a lot of great competition between each teams, and whichever teams go to the World Series, there's going to be even greater competition and leveled matchups there too. So, yeah.
I'd agree with that because the pitching is so good, like especially this season.
Oh yeah, bro! I can't
Compared-
wait for that.
Compared to
Alaska
season 8,
Mount Adams Knight pitching matchup because those are some of the best pitching units in the league going head to head.
Well, my opinion. If you look at it from the outside, look at it, and I think even though I played like one game, I would take this from an objective. I think this is turned up to be one of the greatest. It has potential to be one of the best World Series we have so far. Just if you follow if we're following certain storylines, a lot of storylines are gonna, especially if my choice, Aces and the RBC, especially when we get to the World Series. But even between them, like even the RL and the NL, each team has their own. Each matchup has their own little plot lines that will unfold. I don't want to talk about some of them, but let's say, for example, if the Aces and the RVC makes it, right? So we got like
Funny.
Saying hypothetically, this is hypothetically Aces by the way. But no, continue. But got me snaking the Cougars and going to the Aces if you want to call it snaking. But we got that. We got Ash going for his first ring. We got a whole bunch of these. And there's so much more. There's so much more that I could talk about. I could talk about this. Aces versus RBC for hours.
The Aces versus RVC game would be amazing because one, I'm 2-0 against Ash in the World Series, and he's 0-2 against me. What's his name? Broken and AQ. They've just been beefing about literally nothing. And so they're just going to be at each other's throats the whole time. There's a lot of great things that could happen postseasons.
Even there, like both teams, I feel like are equally. I'm not gonna say stacked, but equally like I would say like they're almost equal because look, you got your you pretty much have like your head honchos who are Ash and Karm going back to back, and then you got your like sub tiers, which you got Peyton and me, and then next you got like your either your up and coming players or your kind of like veteran players. You got Bag and Darkar, and then you got like Broken and you got Broken, and then we got who else is on our team? Wow,
Uncomparable and JRJ.
Yo, and then we got Uncomparable. The matchups are just gonna be so good, especially if these two make it. It's gonna be
you still need to beat the team that swept you.
I was about to say I'm thinking.
Hey.
Keep that in mind.
Let's look at the individual championship series first. Here.
Smoggin ownership, rebuilding, and then definitive team. And definitive team is like towards the end of the season. And I think that we have the potential to at least do something because one, Squeaker is going to be out for your first 2 games. And then also
That just gives us a challenge that we want to, accomplish.
Yeah, no, it's a challenge for sure. But you guys also haven't played against our, final team. You guys played against our rebuilding team, which I think is a huge difference.
Your final team played NAS, right? We just beat them.
Let's take a pause real quick. So
Our final team
we didn't play NAS. Our final team didn't play NAS.
Our final team, we had a majority of our final team players play against NAS, but you also have to keep in mind that we went into
guys released JS
seven innings for both games, and the players who you could say were not contributing as much on the batting side of things are no longer with the organization. So if you want to look at our batting, I think we have a lot of potential to improve there because we have less liabilities.
What about that
available.
UPS game?
that is a fair point. What about the UPS game?
But let's talk about the other side about this. Let's talk about the Spartans and the Cougars. I think we're gonna have a much better matchup than we had last year. Because last year it was just like it was pathetic. I'm sorry. NAS had like what was it like 4-1? It was 4-1 last year, 4-2.
Let me check.
What are you talking about? Oh, you mean West Virginia?
Yeah. Oh no, they didn't even make it. So NAS didn't even make it.
NAS didn't even make it to the MLCS last
Doug
year.
finally stepping back into a chance to get a World Series. So hopefully he can make some competition against Ash's reformed RVC team, which has actually been playing really well. The number one team in the hopefully, most likely, the number one team in the league. So I want to see how this new NAS team, which is not really new, they're just Doug's more active.
Here, let me real quick. I just want to look at the rosters.
Team does against I wouldn't say a worse RVC than last year. I would just say a fresh,
differently built.
I wonder how that will turn out.
Here,
any comments from the RVC owner?
I would like to look at NASA's roster that last year compared to this year.
All right. Well, he's gone.
Just a minute. I'm not going to go off on that big of a tangent. We got Doug, Weehawk, Juice, and Big Slow.
What?
We're all on the team last year. So is Felix.
I think it's going to be very interesting. There's two really good teams, It's going to be fighting it out. I think it comes down to, once again, the theme I'm going to be saying is the pitching.
Mm-hmm.
Especially because you know what the hitters are going to bring, but you need those pitchers to be consistent.
That's true, but and going back to previous things that I've seen, whereas Doug is not really I'm not discrediting Doug. He's still a great player, but his pitching aspect of his game
he pitched a good game. I mean, he's gonna get the job done most of the time.
Yeah, most of the time he's gonna get the job done. But this season he has like had games where he was like, where I don't want nothing gets broken, but I would technically think I wouldn't see that broken.
I'd still take
instantly,
Yeah.
If you,
what are we talking about? My bad, because I'm playing
pitching
Red Dead
RVC
and I got
NAS.
that really dramatic.
No, we're talking about the ML
pitching.
Oh, but I think RVC has a little bit better of a rotation, behind like Peyton and Ash. Like you have Darkar and Meme, Broken, Jiff. They're all pretty good pitchers, but compared to NAS, you kind of just have like Big Slow and NLJ.
Yeah. I don't feel like. Wait, are you talking about regarding pitchers?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, in the in the ML, I think RVC has the advantage in the series purely because I wouldn't even count Big Slow or NLJ in as like dominant pitchers. Because if you put them against Mac,
we destroyed
RVC. It would be a much different game, and you can't really
from the start if they don't relieve. Yeah,
but I mean, NAS can't rely on just having Juice, and Doug carry their entire pitching lineup for this series, and then expect to go to the World Series and have them carry that same mentality. Like it's just something you don't see. The teams that win the World Series, with the exception of the Season 3 Ohio Warhawks, all have a diversity in pitching that allows for them to safely call in a relief pitcher if they need to, and still have a great pitcher that can be ready for the next game. Like they're not limited to two specific pitchers. They have a rotation that functions together and benefits off each other's playing.
Yeah. But something I think interesting to look at
So moving right along.
Okay.
So I haven't ran this in a while, so I don't know what question to ask. But let's start rolling towards who do y'all think is gonna win it all? Let's just ask that.
We
Let's
haven't
get
looked
that out
at
of
the
way. Who
R.
do you think's gonna win it all?
I haven't looked at the RLCS yet. I think before we
All right,
start,
so-
I think I'm gonna break down the RLCS because I'm the only
ahead.
non on the team person.
No, you go ahead, Carm. You got it.
All right. Obviously, you guys all thought I was gonna say Alaska. I think there's a chance. The thing is that you can't really just give one team a specific number and say, "Oh, that's their chances." Because if you look at sports
Hello?
leagues,
Oh, my mic wasn't working. That makes a lot of sense now.
Ash, you dumbass.
Y'all couldn't hear me, but the stream could.
Blink.
Oh my God.
That
Sorry.
was not kosher, my friend, at
That's
all.
not kosher.
I had to say it. Sorry. All right, continue.
All right. Anyway, but because you look at the professional sports leagues, and it's never that there's one specific team that is the favorite. There's percentages for the teams that are competing, and for the likelihood of them winning. You know what you get what I mean?
Yeah. I'd agree.
It's like you can't just say that there's going to be one specific team. It's just like based the odds.
It's just too random. Yeah.
Yeah. But in terms of odds, I don't have specific odds, but I think the order I would put those odds in would be RBC first, second Mac, third Alaska, and then last would be NAS.
Yeah. And I think before we dive deeper into that, I kind of want to look at the RLCS myself because you guys looked at the NLCS, and since I'm not on that side, I just want to look at this real quick myself. So if we look at the pitching game, following game 2, Mac will have Squeaker, easily the best pitcher in the RBC right now. But other than that, AJ is still a very dominant force. He's the only pitcher who's 5-0, other than Squeaker. And while I haven't really seen him play up against the very good teams as much as I have other pitchers this season, he's still a very big force to be reckoned with. But after AJ, it falls down to Alex and Tornado, which really limits them as a pitching core. Flacco also has some innings, but he's not doing too hot this season either. If you look at the aces, Carm's performing quite well despite his 3-3 record. But after him, I don't really know who they're going to turn to. I would expect Spartan to get some innings or WoW, but nobody on aces pitching-wise has really popped off this season.
I mean,
Due to the fact that I know you're getting these players. A lot of these players were on teams that were terrible, or just in general, not very well outfield equipped. But
the thing that I want to say regarding the rest of our pitching unit is that the thing that would give us the edge in terms of the quantity and quality of and diversity of our pitching unit is that compared to Mac, which has a similar situation to NAS in the sense like there's only 2 dominant pitchers, is that our pitching unit is spread out across multiple pitchers. Like Comp could easily pitch, WoW could easily pitch.
I know
Hey,
I understand that.
But
What I'm
uncomparable
saying is
pitch against
that
Mac and
in
got
terms of
smacked.
stats, these pitchers haven't delivered yet.
Oh yeah, in terms of stats, but I mean like
yes, sure, they can come in and pitch.
AQ does have the stats. AQ does.
But we'll have to look at how they do when the time comes in the playoffs. With Ace's pitching rotation, it's heads or tails. It could go either way. It could be dominant and amazing, or just kind of straight up bad. In terms of fielding, I would give Mac the edge here, honestly. Alex, Twirtle, and AJ.
Flacco, maybe.
Not AJ. Alex,
Flacco.
Twirtle, Torn, and maybe Flacco is a very good outfield core. But especially Alex and Twirtle, the two of them are some of the best outfielders in the league right now, especially in the RL. And I think the Aces are going to be hard-pressed to get balls around them in the outfield and get base knocks. And it's worth noting a little bit that the Knights do lead the Aces in terms of total home runs. So they're scoring runs, but more of the Aces' runs are based on hits. And if they can't get hits due to a great outfield, then they probably won't be able to score.
Yeah.
In terms of hitting overall, it really depends on how you look at it. Mac has more consistency throughout the team and has more of like average to above average guys just chilling there. But Aces, on the other hand, have a couple people who are completely destroying, and then they have a few more people who are just like kind of chilling at the average to below average mark. It really just depends on how they get how the Aces get momentum going, because I feel like Mac, while they're a very defense-oriented team, they can get runs on the board when they need to, and it'll be interesting to see how they try to do against the Aces pitching and outfielding. Overall, despite the fact that the Aces have scored a ton of runs recently, I feel like every game in this series will be decided by less than 3 runs, with like at least one of them going into extras.
I think personally more than half of them will go into extras because it's such a close competition. And when I was on the mound, for example, that went into the 9th inning.
Yeah.
Pretty proud of myself on that one.
I think one big key factor, especially for the Aces, especially will be me, because I legit played one game against UPS, didn't play very well, and then because I was really horrible this beginning of the year, so then I took off. But now I wanted to help out Carm, get his. I don't want to say the bad word. I'm gonna say get his dream accomplished of season 4 Boston
beating
Warriors.
Ash 3 times in the World Series.
No, you mean
beating Ash in the World Series as a coach.
You mean begging me to come out of retirement. So, but besides that, so I think what's really going to have to happen is to see if I can make that jump back to either prime or either like sub prime level, because right now I'm not at a level where I can say I can hit off AJ like I say I could, or I can hit off Alex, or honestly, I'm concerned if I get off Torn or not. But like, seriously, like that's
bro,
what I'm saying.
you don't
like,
have to worry about hitting on. Just let him walk you, and you're fine.
And walk you, yeah, it's dirty. He did him dirty.
Yikes.
So basically, I think it's gonna see how I can perform during that game. Because if I can get the strikeouts, if I can make some home run hits, which I usually can do, I'm young to do. I think that would make the difference of getting the Aces over the hump, especially if I could put a team on my back. Me and Carm.
I agree with that big time, because if you're able to show up at as we need, then I think it's going to be really impactful, because you're our other 5-star player. If you're able to show up and play the way that we need you to, that's going to give us a huge advantage in the place that we're going to need it.
Oh yeah, all right.
I'm sorry, my horse just got shot and killed.
All right, Carm, take a second to yourself. Anyway, so what is here? I'm gonna do my prediction for the RLCS game by game. Game 1's at Crosby. Projected pitchers would be who pitched game 2 for the Knights.
I haven't played game 2.
Who pitched game 2 for the Aces? Who pitched game 2 for the Aces?
I thought we set the playoffs.
Oh, Carm? Oh, fuck.
Carm pitched? Okay, so that means that Carm cannot pitch game 1.
Wait, whoa. I thought they reset.
Yeah.
I don't know. They don't reset. Not at least they didn't last season. But that means my projected starting pitchers. Who did Mac pitch game 1 of this series? Was it AJ or?
AJ. So AJ pitched game 1 against Nats.
It's the game 1 of the championship series is probably going to be AJ versus Rockefeller.
Or me.
Or Spart.
Oh, my bad.
If that is the case, I think game 1 is going to go to the Knights by 2 runs. Game 2, Carm's on the hill with no squeaker, which means that the Aces are almost definitely going to win that game. So I think we're going to be 1-1 going into game 3 at Aces Superdome. Squeaker's going to be back. He'll take the start. That game's going to be super close, but since it won't be Carm on the hill, at least not in my projections, I think that with Squeaker on the mound, the Knights will win that game. Game 4, it will be AJ versus Carm. That'll be the closest game in the series, I think.
Can I say something real quick?
AJ or Alex versus Carm. That'll be a very close game. Yeah, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Finish out.
All right,
I'm sorry.
Game 4 will be AJ or Alex versus Carm. I have no idea who's going to win that game. That'll be incredibly close. But I think this series has, I'd say, somewhere around a 65 to 75% chance of going to 5.
Dang. So you don't think it's going longer than 5?
I mean, that's only 5. It's a best of 5 series.
Oh, it's the best of 5. Okay.
Yeah. But game 5, I honestly think the Knights are going to win the series. Unless the Aces pull something out of their butts that they haven't shown so far this season. I really just think the Knights are going to pull it out in 5, because if Carm pitches 2 and 4, I think they have a very good shot at winning those, but I really haven't seen enough from any other pitcher on the Aces to really give confidence that they can beat Squeaker or AJ in terms of like a game. Like honestly, they could go either way, but my predictions based on just solely pitching, like batting and fielding is relatively consistent, but this trick or the pitching just kind of points towards the Knights winning in 5. What y'all think about the ML?
Don't tell them.
Y'all talk about the ML.
Great. I love that. Thank you.
And that sounds even better.
Hello, y'all there? Wake up, talk.
Yeah.
Talk about the MLCS.
You're talking. What?
Like with your voice.
All right, let me do it. Let me do ML. Just. All right, for the ML, it's Spartans and Cougars. So, honestly, game 1, if Ash pitches, I'd take Ash over any pitcher on the Spartans. As much as I hate to say it. For game 2, you probably have Dar and Juice or Doug. So, that'll be a close game, depending on how well the Spartans field. I'd still give that game to the Cougars again. Just the consistency they've shown with the pitching has been really good. Now for game 3, Ash, do you know, are you going to pitch back-to-back games, or
I don't
you
know.
just going to...
I'll see how the series is going, but...
Depends, yeah. But you didn't do that against us, and we kind of made you pay for it a little bit, but... For the most part, game 3, I think Nas might pitch Big Slow, so that might... I'd say I honestly have heavy odds towards the Cougars here, but like it could be a sweep. It could be very well be a sweep unless Nas starts out with a win.
My opinion is that they're gonna sweep, bro. They're gonna sweep the living crap out of them, bro.
Well, I think
Cougars,
they need to win the first game.
Cougars, you know what Cougars are gonna do? They're gonna put Doug on a giant pedestal, and they're gonna freeze him in carbonite and say, "Old man, die." That's what they're gonna do.
Super disrespectful.
That's literally what they're gonna do. That's what I feel like they're gonna do to them. But this is what I'm saying. But this is what I'm saying. If this team, right, could it be a team that consists of Xavier, Wow, Squeaker Raxus, and like who was it? Who's the other guy? Who's the other guy that Squeaker hangs out with all the time?
I don't know.
You know what I'm talking about, right? Y'all know what I'm talking about.
Who? No.
You know what I'm talking about. Oh God, do I have to find his name?
I don't know his name.
But Ashley, are you aware who I'm talking about?
What?
The guy that Squeaker used to hang out with all the time on West Virginia.
Oh,
I have no idea.
They were all little kids. I don't know.
Where are you taking?
They're all little
What are you
kids, bro.
talking about here? I'm kind of confused.
Okay, S.J. Perkins. That's his name. S.J. Perkins.
Perk.
If Nas can't beat a team with S.J. Perkins, Xavier, and Squeaker, right? With that team going through all that mess they went through, that West Virginia team did, still couldn't beat them. Yes, there was inconsistent umping, but Jesus Christ, there's inconsistent umping in every game. I don't care. But But besides that, like if this team can't beat that team, if Nas can't beat that team fair. Doug wasn't there in every game. Doug might be at every game here, but let's honestly, if the RBC players show up, I think it's a wrap. I think honestly, RBC has an easy road to the World Series, and if they lose here, I think it's gonna be almost as shocked as everybody was last year when West Virginia did that. Even better, I think, honestly. Your opinions?
Okay, I guess we're moving on then. But no, yeah, the playoffs will be very good. For those of the fans who are unaware, myself, Doug, and Carm are all incredibly busy this upcoming week, so the low-key might not be a playoff game till next Saturday, but we're not.
That gives me more time to grind.
Yeah,
Grind.
everyone will get ready, everyone's gonna get hyped, and we'll be ready. But y'all want to move on to awards?
What are awards, bro? I don't get those.
The renamed awards. Okay.
Yeah. All right. So let's start off from the bottom. Rookie here. I'll share my screen for this one.
All right. Cool.
Real quick. What is h squared divided by h?
I don't know.
Five.
Anyway,
I don't know.
so we got.
Bruh. I got it wrong.
Okay. So let's start off with the Rookie of the Year in the Robloxian League. Who do y'all think? I mean, okay, never mind. Uncomparable is winning the Rookie of the Year in the Robloxian League.
Who is that? Never heard of it.
That's almost certain.
Player that's been gassed up.
Let's flip-flop. Let's flip-flop here. So, who do we think is going to win the Metro League Rookie of the Year?
Amazing B.
Amazing B or Admin Reeves is what I'm thinking. What do y'all think?
Question: who is uncomparable?
He's on the Aces, dude.
I'm joking. I'm sorry.
I know, but
B played so well.
yeah, B
those
has played
games he
quite
was
well, but
at.
he's only played against the Suns so far.
I think
Yeah.
the only person. I think you. Sorry. Go ahead.
You were the only one talking. Okay.
I think it should. I think it should go to Admin just because I low key found him, and I mean I didn't find him, but I low key recruited him. I know B's great. I think B's great. I just don't think. Honestly, I would give him case if he came next year. I think he should be a rookie next year.
He's played enough. He won't be eligible next year.
If Ben Simmons is a rookie, anybody can be a rookie.
But no, I'll put this down as Admin Reeves or Amazing B. Now let's do RL Dime Award. I'm thinking Alex. What about y'all?
Yeah. I
For
mean,
who? For what? What's the award?
The Guest Rizzo Dime Award.
I mean, I feel like
Award?
there's a small chance for
glove.
Bag just because he is the best put-out player in the league.
Bro,
Putouts don't require skill.
That's just so easy. You can go AFK and get it put out.
Tell that to UPS because clearly they needed skill to do that.
No. They don't require a skill. They require brain cells.
Oh, that's a difference. My bad.
Yeah.
Question: Who's getting this skin? You say?
I said Alex.
And who is that?
Anyway, moving on to the Metro League Dime Award. Who do y'all think is gonna get that one?
You. I'm sorry. I hate to say it. Possibly Juice, but I don't think he hasn't been as good as you. So.
Okay. RL Dinger Award. These are let's just do the stat-based awards real quick. The Dinger Award and the RL is currently a tie between like 3 people. It's Tornado.
Tornado's up for an award?
Yes.
He's got 4, bro. He's got 4 home runs.
Tornado,
Bro,
Bag, and
exactly?
Alex all have 4 dingers, which is the top in the RL. So if Tornado or Alex could hit a dinger against Nas in Game 2, then any of them could win that award. But I don't know how they would tie break it otherwise. Probably RBIs.
Is RBC good, bro? How in the heckers does the leaders for this have 4 home runs?
Because the Metro League has way more dingers than the Robloxian League.
Oh, I'll just pinch hit Torn every time, so I can get as many chances as I can. I'm just kidding.
Bro,
I'm just kidding. I'm sorry. Love you, Torn.
No, you should give Torn. You should PH Torn as much as you can. So Torn can have an award, and he could gloat the Ash.
No, Torn has improved so much, and I think that should be his award in like itself.
Okay.
So you're saying if you win, you're gonna not accept the award and give it to him?
Oh, I'm saying. Wait, what? What do you? No, I'm saying he should win the improvement award. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, all right. Let's move on. Let's move on to the ML Dinger Award. Right now, I'm up by 2. Second place is Juice. He has 1 game to hit 2 home runs.
Yo, Juice is winning MVP, bro.
Okay, actually, Juice needs to hit. If we're doing RBI tiebreaker, he needs to get 2 home runs and 8 RBIs in Game 2 tomorrow in order to beat me for the
Yeah, that's
Dinger
not
Award.
happening.
So that's basically a certainty. Let's do the other stat-based award, the Slugger Award. In the Robloxian League, Car Mushroom 2.
What?
You're in first place for the Slugger, Silver Slugger, AJ128 Slugger Award.
What about the
We haven't gone there yet.
No, did we not get past the Hank Aaron?
Yeah, we already did that.
We did. We already did that. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm like I literally just finished Red Dead Redemption 2, so I did not.
I know.
Yo,
Bro, the very ending, bro. Micah's a snitch. Yo, sorry, that's spoiled. Bro.
Anyway.
Micah's a rat.
All right. Anyway, yeah. Continue.
Oh wait, Car Mushroom is also up for the Dinger Award.
Yeah,
Bro, this
dude,
is
I got
bummy,
a home
bro.
run
Why?
today.
This is bummy, dog. There's only 8 viewers. We need to get.
Oh no way.
All right.
No way, bro. That could easily be mine. Raxos would have to get 5 runs in the next game. Or 5
runs.
If we're doing it by RBI, then Carmen Bag are exactly tied. Yeah, we'll have to see how that plays out. But moving back to the Silver Slugger, the AJ128 VG Slugger Award. Right now, the leader in Metro League batting average is myself, batting 568.
Oh, you're so cool, aren't you?
Second place is Juice, batting 483. Hold on, let me look at something real quick. Yeah, he has to go 12 for 12 in his next game to get the batting average award.
In which division?
The Metro League.
Yo, I'm gonna declare it now. I'm thinking about going to Nash next season.
All right. That's all the stat-based awards. Let's do the RL Carm Ace Award. I mean,
Arm.
yeah, I think unless AJ
Nobody.
really pops off in the playoffs, I think Carm is a certainty for this award.
Oh, for wins. I mean, but
AJ has 5 wins, but Carm statistically is superior.
He's just been so much better. Yeah.
As of right now, that is.
All right, yeah.
As-
I mean, you name someone else that has 95 strikeouts for Doug in season 1.
Nobody.
I'll
Anyway,
wait.
We don't need to. Anyway.
Who has 4 wins in a 4 losses in a row? My bad. Sorry, had to say it.
What? I picked up a dub today. What do you mean?
Wait. Oh, my bad. After your
Anyway.
dub.
What about the Metro League for Cy Young or the Carm Ace Award? My bad.
That's an interesting one, I think.
I think it's definitely between aschlemmer or Duop Juice, now known as COVID Juice.
Ooh, dude.
Yeah.
I wanted to say crazy, but he got destroyed. Wow.
Oh my god. Alright. Biggest drop off. Alright. I'm sorry.
Early, his team was trash.
Just take
His
a
team
quick
was so
second away
bad.
from awards. Biggest drop off in each league. Go.
Crazy and probably
He
Spartan.
hit really good. Crazy has 11 base on balls. It's
Okay,
not-
Crazy batting is fine. He's regressed about as much as everyone else has from last
His
year to
fielding is
this.
horrible. Like the team behind
His
him.
fielding has always been terrible, and he's never
No,
had to
no,
field
no.
in the
It's
past.
not even that. It's
team
that his
behind him.
pitching is nowhere where it should be for a player of his caliber.
I mean,
His team's
honestly,
horrible.
his pitching is perfectly fine. It's just the fact that his team has never had an outfield at all this season, and he's never been a K-based pitcher.
I mean, so then that's clearly the problem. Is like
I mean,
the pitchers.
he honestly hasn't dropped off that much in skill. He just hasn't had the outfield that he had back at Omaha.
It's just like
That outfield was me, okay?
there are players more based on striking out. Like there are two types of pitchers: pitchers that strike out, and then pitchers that rely on a. And when you don't have that, those pitchers are no longer valuable.
Yeah.
So
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I mean, I was going to say something, but I don't think it would be appropriate because I feel like Alex would get a little bit mad.
Hey, go ahead. Go ahead.
All right. So like I just said, how there are two types of pitchers. I personally think that the more valuable pitchers are the pitchers that can get Ks because like I said, the pitchers that rely more off their fielding, like if they go to a team that doesn't have great fielding, then that's going to affect them negatively and they're not going to be.
Hold on. I think there's a third type of pitcher. All right, they get the wins. I take that over any different. I don't like. If you're getting the wins, it doesn't matter how you do it.
I never disagreed with that, but what I'm saying is that like let's say I'm putting a metaphorical situation out there where you're on a bad team, like, and you're trying to build a team. But you don't have the outfield. I would rather take someone that's going to be able to strike players out than it's going to be relying on their outfield, and that's why I would say that I'm more valuable in Squeaker than in that sense. Purely because, just hear me out here. If you were to put me and Squeaker on UPS, for example, who would do better for that team?
With more leadership, and I'd say probably you, just because of that. But
that's fair.
Squeaker, he's good, but his hitting isn't up to yours yet.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that at all. When I'm talking about me and Squeaker, I don't think about it as like me putting him down. I'm like the fact that me comparing us together, I think it's just like very good in of itself because nobody else in the league is like are being put up to our standards.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So I just want you to note that, like, when we have that type of conversation.
Okay.
I don't want to tell. Yeah. Also, like, I haven't been listening to what you talk about, but I can believe I can add some context to this. But like, as Alex said, like you said, type of pitcher, and I think low key, I started off as a K pitcher, but I think I've evolved more to a pitcher. Whereas well, in my prime, I evolved to a pitcher whereas Alex described as a winning pitcher. I would say like I strike out when I need to strike out. I think I play more tactically than I do like aggressively. Like as you saw last season, how many bites on balls that I have, like 20, 30, and I'm not afraid to intentionally walk anyone at any given moment. If the circumstance calls for it, I'm gonna walk you. Like I don't care, because I'm trying to get the best odds to get out of this inning. Now, because let's say like I said, I'm trying to get wins. At the end of the day, this game is about winning, and it doesn't matter how you get the win. As long as the score says you win and your team loses, that's all that matters. So that's why I say I evolved myself into a winning pitcher.
That's what I've been trying to say about all this pitching talk, but
exactly. But now the thing is that K pitchers are probably your second most successful pitchers because you know what they'll do? They'll go up and strike out every batter, and they don't have to rely on their fielding that much because they're not going to give that many hits because they're a K batter. But sometimes you have those K strikers, they're very aggressive. But when you get to certain batters who are also very aggressive against
who guess,
like exactly. That's like going against somebody like Doug or Crazy. If you're gonna get aggressive against them, you already know like you're gonna expect some type of retaliation, whether it's a home run, a deep fly ball, or something. And now, the third type of pitcher was the outfielder pitcher. You're not gonna be super successful with these. The reason is because they're giving out a lot of hits. Now this can be a lot of hits to rookies, a lot of hits to noobs. It could be a lot of hits to AASC. I'm joking.
I mean, okay, that's the thing though. Effective outfield pitchers are the ones that place the pitches in positions where the rookies won't swing at them. And if the veterans do, they'll hit weak contact to their competent fielders, which will get outs.
Yeah,
But the
That's
thing
why
is that-
Squeaker works. Squeaker is successful due to the fact that he does exactly that. I don't think Squeaker
He's
has
all
had more
three.
I don't think he's had more than 2 dingers off of him all season.
yeah.
But the thing is that you gotta also think about like the bats are like super inconsistent, my dog. Like
Yes,
I
but there
think- I
are
think-
locations you can throw the ball that'll almost definitely give you
And
either a
I-
weak
and
hit
I'm
or
aware of
a medium hit.
I
Yeah.
found that myself in a couple games. I found that myself last game. There's spots where you can throw the ball and no one's gonna hit it, and there's spots where you can go throw the ball and it's guaranteed home run every time.
Yeah,
For
exactly, which is why
But especially
an
but
outfield
especially-
I hate seeing I don't like placing these strats above each other because they all have their place on a certain team with a certain mindset.
Of course, yes, I do agree with that. Go ahead. Sorry.
Like
go ahead.
honestly, when it comes to the K pitcher versus the outfield pitcher, if you're on a team like the current Cougars with an outfield of me, Darkar, and Broken, as long as you don't let up home runs or walks, then you can
Be successful, yes.
you can be successful. That's the thing though. Pitchers who have a lot of Ks also tend to have a lot of walks.
Yes.
And walks can be detrimental because if you're trying to pitch for strikeouts, then you're going to be pitching these either borderline strikes, or you're going to be pitching meat, or you're going to be pitching a blatant ball. And these K pitchers honestly seem to have the highest home run to hit ratio, whereas where the most amount of their base hits are home runs. And that combined with the walks, even if you get a ton of strikeouts, if you allow a walk and a dinger, that's much worse than allowing a couple hits to center field.
Yeah.
Which is why I'm
That's
saying
true,
that
but-
all of these different strats have places on different teams with different players. There's no
course,
superior
yes.
strategy.
Yeah,
No,
like
I don't
it
think-
really does come down to the play type of the team and how the pitcher fits into that team strategy.
Let me tell you this. I think yes, Ash, I totally do agree with you with the fact that each pitching style is suited for each different team. But I also think it's that if you place these on separate different teams, I think it's obvious that some are more successful.
I mean, sure,
throughout
by
the
default, the K
spectrum.
pitcher is going to let less people on base, but it's again the higher hit to home run ratio and the higher walk rate. Like
that
that's
means
just what you have to
that-
worry about.
Yeah.
But that's
Well,
what
it
I'm trying to
depends,
say, dog.
too,
I'm
like-
trying to say that over a broad spectrum of whoever you want to randomize on random teams, you take all the players, put them in a pool, randomize the teams on 8 different teams. I think that certain pitchers will come up being more successful than other pitchers will.
Sure.
Not just maybe not off of skill, but maybe just off the type of player the type of pitcher they are.
There are pitchers that will fit anywhere, no matter where they go.
Exactly.
And there
A
are some
winning
pitchers
pitcher, I
that
feel-
will only fit on specific teams.
Exactly.
Yeah, like by default, K pitchers will perform better on any team. But
Exactly.
the way I see it, the best outfield pitchers will perform better than the best K pitchers on the right team.
Yes, I do agree with that. Yes.
Which is it's really
But-
just
but-
dependent on your mentality, which means that no style is default better than any other because
But I just feel like
ideally you're going to be playing on a team that has like the correct fit for you, and if you don't have that, then you're not playing to your fullest potential. I'm saying that at the fullest potential, all of these strats are equal.
What I'm
That's
saying
crazy.
Is that,
Yeah.
What I'm saying is like every pitching style has their floor, and every pitching style has their ceiling. Ceilings are high. Now the ceilings on K pitchers I would say, like you said, are smaller than they are on outfield hitters. Because you know why? Because outfield hitters, when they have that outfield, it can boost their ceiling can be raised so much higher because the effective players behind them. But when you have a K pitcher like that whole ceiling comes down. But you
Oh,
get
no,
what I'm saying.
I feel like I'm an
think-
exception to these K pitcher comments you're
You're
making
not.
right now.
You're not. I don't think you are because honestly,
You have more walks than you have about
No.
half as many walks as you have earned runs, and most of your earned runs seem to have come off of home runs, at least from what I've observed this season.
No, I get that from what you've observed, but I've given up about 3 or 4 home runs.
Yes,
Out of
and that makes
every
up.
game I've pitched.
You have 10 earned runs,
The
and
thing
you have
is-
3 to 4 home runs. With an average RBI of like 2.1 per home run, which seems to be about where it is, that's already 85% of your runs allowed, which is exactly what I'm talking about.
I said 4. Wait, what kind of math was that? If I have 10 earned runs, and
3
let's
to
say
4 home
4 of them
runs.
were home runs.
In practice,
Yes.
home runs tend to have around 2 runs per home run, because that just seems to be the
No.
average, which makes a
majority of
big
mine have
big
That
been-
just
portion.
seems to be the average, my boy.
All
Just
right,
seems
all
to be
right,
the average.
all right. I'll just go with these.
Make yourself
quote-unquote
the
givens.
exception, then, bro. Go for it. I'm not stopping you. Anyway,
No. I'll go with your. I'll go with your givens.
all right, let's go back to awards. So,
Yeah, go finish the board, please.
leadership award in the Robloxian League. Alex or Bag? Due to the fact that Alex has actually made roster changes and all Bag really did for his team is signed Carm as his head coach, I'm gonna give this one to Alex. I don't. What about you guys?
Hey,
This
can
is
we talk about
ridiculous.
how, like, Alex would be...
Head coaches for manager of the year.
I voted yes. It's not my fault.
I still did more than you.
I'm bringing it back up at the meeting.
Okay, do it. Anyway, but I'd give that to Alex. Does anybody oppose other than Carm?
I mean, saying that it doesn't pass, then yes, I would still agree that Alex is the favorite to win.
Okay, what about the Metro League?
God.
It's gonna purely off of just... It's gonna have to be asked. Purely off of...
Okay. I'll just go with that then. What about most improved? These are some of the more interesting awards. Let's start with the RL. I'm thinking most improved, Twirtle. I'm thinking either Twirtle or Tornado. Hold on, what was Twirtle's old username?
That was... It was Sirius, or it was Siri, but I forgot what it was after
Hold up.
Siri.
Hey Siri, call my mom.
Bro, your mom makes the best cookies, bro.
Oh, their new username is FML Connor. Their previous username was... Oh, it was Saraza, that's right. Saraza was literal garbage when they played before. And while it's been a really long time since they have played, I really think that jump is enough to earn them most improved, sorry. Now let's look at Torn real quick. That is a valid point. What team was he on last season? He was on Gas City to end the season, right?
Bro, that
Stats
dude was a literal dumpster fire last year.
Last year he batted
Wasn't bad at
364,
pitching.
5 home runs, 13 RBIs. This season he is 392, 4 home runs, 8 RBIs. That's basically the exact same stat line. Pitching, his ERA was 4.3. His ERA has gone down. His pitching has improved significantly. But in terms of batting, I'd say he's about the same. Which is why I would give this one to Twirtle.
His pitching
personally.
that is really taking a big jump.
Oh, it has. But I don't think it's enough to earn the improvement award.
For the ML?
For the RL.
No, for the RL, sorry. Yeah, I mean, if you think about, like, how bad, like, how, not just bad, like, pitching, but, like, just how bad he was, like not just him, but, like, even, like, the stories around him, jumping teams, and all this other stuff, trying to, I'm not going to blame him I'm not going to accuse him of ring chasing, but I'm going to go with the popular vote of accusing him for ring chasing, all this stuff, this come down, settle on a team, and, pitch effectively is something that Tornado has not been able to do in the past. He has shown glimpses, but he hasn't been able to do it in the past, especially on a wide seasonal base. That's why I think he should get it. But that's in my defense.
Okay. How about the Metro League? Who are we thinking?
Dark Art.
What?
I'm gonna say Broken, personally.
Yeah, Broken hands down, bro.
I'd agree. He wasn't playing well in the last part of the regular season.
While last season he did bat 400, he had 12 at-bats in the spread sheet. So I'm not really taking that into account. In terms of overall skill, last season he was like kind of eh. But this season, he bat 500 to end the season. And he's had plenty of innings on the mound, finishing with a 1-0 record. So
I hope my son Broke is out there listening to me. Because Broken, I want to win that award. And I think he deserves that award over anybody. I think if you wanted to if you would look at it last year and said, who is Spartan last year? I think that exemplifies Broken. I think Broken takes that bar and raises it to the next level. Ash is literal poo-poo. I don't know why he's even on that team. If I was on that team, would be 10 times as better. But that's besides the point. I'm just kidding. I'm talking like Stephen A. Smith now.
anyway, now on to the big cheese awards. Most valuable player.
Juice.
In the Robloxian League, let's start there. My
Probably,
top 3 candidates: AJ,
Is this in order?
Carm,
Just
not in
random?
order. It's just random. AJ, Carm, AJ and Carm are my top 2, with heavy bias towards
I'd
Carm.
agree. I'd agree.
While AJ does not really lead in anything specific, his performance in all categories has been quite good this year. He's sticking to the
Average,
AJ.
though.
He's
Except for
sticking to the average
outfield.
AJ's position of 0 home runs.
Just hit for singles.
He hits for average.
Yeah,
His pitching has been great this season, but
those walks.
I would have to give the edge to Carm.
Yeah, I'd agree.
You guys are
He's
so
just been a bit more
kind.
valuable. To his
Shut up
team,
and
at
kiss
least.
me already. Oh my god.
All right, what y'all think about the Metro League MVP?
Oh,
Doo-wop or Ash?
probably, say you. You have better stats than everything. I mean, fielding too.
I'd have to review the stats.
I
But
currently lead Juice in every stat except for whip.
Yeah, and you're also a bit more valuable to your team, like as a player. You know.
Yeah.
So then, yeah.
All right, so what we talking about? I was taking that trash.
We're talking about you, cutie.
We're talking about what?
You.
All right, what are you talking about me? What do we need to talk about?
We're talking about how cute you are.
All right, let me tell you how cute I am. If you put,
Oh my god.
let me think about this.
If
If
you were
if you put-
a Build-A-Bear workshop bear, you would be the Justin Bieber limited edition bear.
No, bro. Let me think. If you combine one of those dudes from BTS, you could combine Shawn Mendes, Justin Bieber, and you know what? Throw some Chris Brown in there because you need some melanin and some sexual assault. But besides that, I think that would be a perfect combination to me.
Sound gay.
You know what? Are you saying there's something wrong to get gay things, Alex? Alex, are you?
All
are
right.
You
Anyway, let's change the subject real
homophobic,
quick.
everyone? I think we
So-
should ban him.
Chat, real quick. Look at these awards on your screen and let me know what you think.
Oh, I'm sad. I can't even see.
I'll read them off one more time. So, starting from the
No,
bottom in the Robloxian League. Rookie of the Year, Uncomp. Dime Award, Alex. Dinger Award, Tornbag, Alex or Carm. Ace Award, Carm. Slugger Award, Carm. Leadership Award, Alex. Improvement, Turtle or Tornado. MVP, Carm or AJ, most likely Carm. Metro League, Rookie of the Year, Admin Reuse or Amazing B. Dime Award, aschlemmer. Dinger Award, aschlemmer. Ace Award, aschlemmer or Juice. Slugger Award, aschlemmer. Leadership Award, aschlemmer. Improvement Award, Broken Elias. And then MVP, aschlemmer or Juice, most likely aschlemmer.
Yeah, these are all good.
Very nice.
Yep.
I think we should have the questions.
I'm gonna talk about
that's
myself
so
here, but not as myself. Here,
Can I
let
take
me.
a quick moment real quick to talk
Yeah.
about something? I like
No
to do
way.
a quick commercial. I know there's only 9 people here, but I don't know if one of those 9 people might do it. But PFL is a thing. Prime Football League, Arc's owning it. It's gonna be pretty lit. I mean, we already played a couple. We played a game in a different league. Me and Alex and a couple other guys, and we cranked their booties. We cranked their soldier boys.
That's
You
true
hit
though.
that soldier boy
And I think
hard.
this might
they
turn out
died.
good because look on the bright side. Look, you got a game night every night. We get to do something outside of RBC because RBC is super toxic and no one wants to do that anymore. So let's just try something else new. PFL. DM Arc if you want the link. All right, go ahead.
PFL. Are you bullied in RBC? Then this is the league for you.
Ash, what you gonna talk about yourself?
Yeah. So in the article that Carm wrote about the awards a couple series ago, he was talking about how Juice needed to prove himself as a pitcher and how I needed to prove myself as a batter.
He hasn't.
Here we
And
go.
I batted like 850 in the last 2 series. And Juice, he kind of stayed where he was in terms of pitching.
Yeah, I agree
Okay.
with that.
Can we talk about the fact how I was obviously MVP last year, but then Doug was like, nah.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, it's bull. That was bull.
So I think it's gonna happen the same thing, Ash. I think you're gonna get snubbed by Juice.
It's entirely possible, but we'll have to see what Doug does.
questions and answers,
I
I
think
guess.
you're gonna get it though. You lead too many awards not to get it.
Where is AJ placed in the pitching categories?
Middle. Like, dead middle.
Dead middle.
I think actually I think he's more of he's a K batter.
I think his hip is exactly about 2.
I saved him last game.
His
I saved him,
overall,
like, 2 home runs.
He has less walks than he has like earned runs, which is usually a sign of an outfield pitcher. But he also has 60 strikeouts. AJ is one of the few guys who works either way. I think he really approaches each batter differently. I feel like he goes for more Ks against weaker hitters and goes for more outfield against stronger hitters, which makes a lot of sense and is what a lot of pitchers should try to do. Only the best can really switch strats like that.
I think he. Sorry, I keep.
No, you go ahead.
Sorry. But I think with AJ's case, he's a striker pitcher. But I feel like specifically in his case, that especially a lot of the veteran players, I think that they usually are the ones that usually can hit off him more. So especially I think he's the prime example of, like I said, a striker batter. I want to say get it blown up in front of his face, but it's more as like a striker batter being aggressive against veteran hitters and ultimately like allowing up hits. Because like you said, but he has a great outfield, so it could work well for him either way. But I think he's a K batter, honestly. I'm K pitcher, honestly, in my opinion.
Yeah. Question from Squeaker: would he be in talks for the MIP if he was eligible?
Yeah.
Yes. I would say in talks. Would he win? Probably
in talks.
Not. But he would definitely be in talks because Tornado's right now in it solely for pitching improvement, and Squeaker did that times 3. So. I wouldn't vote
Squeaker.
I would put him in talks, but I don't know if I would put him at number 1 because he's still batting below average in terms of everybody.
I would give him oh look, Squeaker. What about him? Maybe no. I would say no. The only reason I would say no is because he pitched good last season. He was just on a worse team. Like if you're gonna be the worst team, you're gonna be more. I feel like the circumstances built around him for West Virginia were built for him to carry, and I don't think that's a good fit for him. Just like I think Mac is perfect for this kid because look, Alex can carry that team, AJ can carry that team. He doesn't have to worry about carrying. All he has to do is sit on that mound and pitch the ball, and I think that's why. He is kind of evolving. Even the same thing for Tornado. Tornado was on several teams where he was considered a top aspect. I think he has potential to be a top aspect. But I don't think he is a top aspect as of right now because he's Tornado. He's not batting as well as he's pitching. But now that he's on a team where Alex is like, hey, you don't really need to bat. Me and AJ are here to carry mostly for batting. What you're here to do is get strikeouts. Like that's
honestly, Twirtle kind of carries.
Yeah, Twirtle does kind of carry a little bit.
And Twirtle carries. Oh my bad, I forgot about Twirtle. But Twirtle
he's
carries
so good.
But when you have those two guys. I think Alex did a really good job of getting these two guys out of their previous circumstances and put them on a team where they only had one job to do, and they're showing that they can do that job effectively.
Crazy says he would win MVP
great statement
if it was all value to the team, and
Crazy said what again?
He said he would win MVP if it was all value to the team. I mean, yeah, but like at the same time, that's one of many factors that are in talks for MVP.
No, I don't think he would honestly. I think only reason he wouldn't win MVP is because I think that I feel like I might be wrong because I haven't been here, but has his batting been the same?
No.
That's
yes.
what I'm gonna say.
I mean, okay, I batted 650 last season, and that was like above average. That wasn't even the best. I think I was like 5th or 6th overall in batting average.
Did he hit like a mad amount of home runs?
Hold on, let me look. So last season, Crazy. Let me see. He hit
like 600.
Oh my
650,
god, yo.
And he was
guys, I don't need to go off topic
in the league. What's up, Carm?
I'm playing Red Dead, and
All right,
you
we're not
can
talking about
milk
Red Dead.
a cow.
We're not talking about Red Dead.
You can milk the cow.
Anyway, last season the batting averages as a whole were just a little higher.
Yeah.
Crazy went from a 650 batter, which was second place in the league, to a 458 batter, which is not second place in the league. He's recessed a little bit. but it's still not terrible. Like,
What about home run base? Where is his
home run
runs been
based,
this
he
season?
hit 5 this season, and he hit how many last year?
Like he
Wait,
had it,
hold on.
He hit
I'd
7
like to answer
last
a
year.
question. Can I answer a question?
What? Yeah, go for it.
So Cyber said I used to be in the favorites for MIP, but not anymore. What gives? So Cyber, I'd say first off, you lag so much.
literally
Like,
preach.
Lags so hard.
Personally, the whole Cyber for MIP thing was going on when you and Tortle were both hitting like crazy high in like the 550s and low 600s.
Still
Y'all-
very good.
Like
but
as I predicted, y'all died down a little bit because people have started to figure you out. But due to the fact that Tortle also presents himself as a very, very good outfielder, I would put him over you for MVP.
And I think
And the only reason Torn is in it is because Tortle doesn't have pitching as part of his like improvement repertoire. And just
Alright,
because
I think that I think
I have
one
a
thing about
question to
Cyber was
pose
that
you guys.
I think that basically when this whole hype came around, it was pretty much like, you know, Cyber and Tor, like they're the next Mac, they're like the next big things or whatever. And I think what what happened was that I think it was a competition to be number one or to be that guy for Mac. You know, there was pretty much a competition for being that guy for Mac because Mac needed, like, you know, every team, like especially now in the NBA, every team needs like a 3-star. Like, I'm sorry, they need a, what is it called? What do they call them?
overperforming player, basically.
No, you know what I mean? Like when they have 3 all-stars on the same team. What are those called again?
a fourth
I
man.
don't know.
I know what you're talking about. Big
But
three.
y'all know what I'm talking about. Yeah,
Big
Three. Yeah, big three.
every team needs a big 3, right? And
Omaha
Mac,
had that.
and
That
when
is
they
not
had
true.
when they had Tortle and
Yeah, they did.
when they had Tortle and Cyber, they were like, oh, here we go, we're gonna get a big 4 maybe. I think what happened was that Cyber kind of fell under Tortle's shadow because not
that's
only
not
because
true.
of Tortle's feeling. No.
In
Cyber,
terms
I'm
of
not
league
discrediting
perception.
Cyber. I'm not discrediting Cyber. Cyber's still a great
Oh yeah,
hitter.
he's still playing great this season.
I just don't think when you think about a star player, you think about someone who can field, who can bat, who's pretty much very versatile. Cyber, not no credit to him, is versatile, but he's not. I don't think he's as versatile as the credit is to Tortle. He
Yeah,
might
and
be a better
I
hitter.
mean, when it comes to the MIP award, it's really how much you improve in each category, and they add on to each other. Cyber only really improved in terms of hitting, while Tortle improved in hitting as well as
Other aspects of the game.
yeah,
Yeah.
which is why I
But-
would put him over.
I'm not discrediting him. He's still
Come
a
on.
really good player. I would love to have him on my team, but I just don't think he is. You know, I don't think he just got overtaken by Tortle's shadow. So now Tortle's like that big number 3 guy in their team. Because even when we were talking about players you need to watch out for at Mac, I don't think Cyber was even mentioned maybe once or twice, but Tortle was mentioned like 5-6 times.
Yeah.
Alright, I got a question to pose you guys.
For who?
Everybody, people in the chat, for you guys, I want your thoughts. So, as time has gone on, we've seen the league switch between a pitcher's game to a batter's game, and now it's back to a pitcher's game. In the coming seasons, do you guys see it as continuing to stay dominated by pitchers, if not become more dominated, or do you see it progressing back to a batter's game?
I think now that new styles of hitting are really permeating throughout the league, I'm going to say that I think hitting is going to start coming back.
I agree with you on that. I personally agree because on top of new batting styles, which have shown a lot of effectiveness, there have also become more restrictions to pitching that allowed for the dominance of the pitching. So I think there's definitely going to be a change there.
My take on this is that I think it all depends on the hopeful next generation of RBC. So basically, right now we have not next generation, but Cyber who's coming back, but especially Tortle who's fairly new to the game, and we got other new people like Uncomparable who's really good at batting. We got Mason B who's really good at batting. These guys aren't pitchers though; these guys are batters. Now,
Comp is a pitcher, bro.
He got smacks.
I
No,
haven't-
he's not.
Against Mac, which was his debut as a pitcher.
I hit against him in RBAA, and like in a scrimmage, I was 3 for 4 with like
RBA,
2 home runs.
Hey,
I hit bombs, bro.
can I get my point, guys? Instead of y'all arguing about shit, all right.
Yeah, go.
Oh, but I was saying that I think these guys are tending to be more batters. Now that may change because you never know. That's only 4 guys, but I think the way it's looking, especially with our future maybe coming up with these new players, it might, like I said, agree with y'all, might turn into a batter's game.
Yeah.
Oh, honestly, I'd say that this year is a little. I think it's not. It shouldn't be really counted towards the discussion because every game, since there's only like 6 teams, every game mostly every game you're facing like a former Cy Young or a like top 5 pitcher. Like when I'm facing like uncomparable, I'm happy. Like I'm not facing Carm or like other pitchers that are like elite, you know.
Or have former elite status, yeah.
Yes, yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. Like every game last year, I would face like Flacco. This year, instead of Flacco, it's like Ash and Dar and like just better pitchers because the teams are smaller with more depth.
Honestly, I think something that we can do in order to make this league more of a batters league is to expand back to 18.
That's what I'm trying to say.
And like,
I agree with back to 18,
and
but I also think
it's something that we need to look into as a board. Like, just entirely, we need to discuss it for a long time and just figure out what we really want to do with this. But, something like, because like right now, every team that's good is stacked with pitchers. Like, completely stacked with pitchers. Like, I think there's more pitching talent on RVC than there was on seasons 3, 4, and 5 Charlotte combined. And, like, that should not happen. I think...
So what did you say?
I went into this season worried about my pitching staff, too. Like, I think going back to 8 teams will make those pitchers stretch a little bit more thin. In terms of batting skill, I think that with the proper star rating ratio, we could definitely make 8 teams, or maybe... potentially, if we were going for smaller rosters, 10 teams could work. While I doubt 10 teams would, while I doubt we're going to go for that, I feel like that if we made it 1, 4, or 5, 1, 5, 1, 4, and then go from there, it could be feasible, but I doubt it will. I doubt it'll happen.
Now I have a question for you all.
Yeah.
Now, do you think this pitchers league? Do you think this is a reason because it's 16? What do you think?
I think the statistical reason for it is the fact that there's just less teams and every team is stacked with pitchers, is what I'm saying. Like,
Agree.
In the past, I was forced to pitch like base, and no offense to base or anything, but base is not too hot of a pitcher. And in this season, he's pitched 2/3 of an inning. That's it. Like, everyone who has more than 15 innings seems to be vets, Cy Young, former owners and stuff. Like, if you look back at, like, Season 6, everyone has pitching stats. Like, I think going back to 8 teams, especially now that a lot more people have came back, and, like, okay, also this season, lots of new leaders have appeared.
Such as?
Like, I feel like, or maybe not appeared, but I feel like there's different people who could potentially look into owning their own team. Like,
such as
Peyton. I think Peyton could go back to owning feasibly.
I don't think he has the time.
I think even if he doesn't have Carm as his head coach, Bag could be a good owner. Carm will probably go to own his own team if he wants to. Alex,
Venezuela.
I want to. If Venezuela Hydros get passed, then you best believe I'm gonna
already try to recruit Tweak too. So
Parker, I feel like he'll come back next season and be a great owner. But like that's me, Doug, Parker, Carm, Bag, Alex,
C,
Spartan, perhaps. That's already 7, and that's not even including the 3 potentials on Unionport. And I don't know if Garrett would want to give owning another try. He could. We'll see about that. But I really think there's enough big names to make up 8 solid team owners.
But you know what I think will be better though? I think we should spend 18, yes. But I think what we need to do is, especially since all these people are stepping up, I think we need to have a pool of like who we think our leaders are, and then I think we need to disperse two to each team.
I mean,
honestly,
that's what team owner appointment and head coach signing does on its own.
I feel like
I'm saying, but not gonna lie. Hopefully, no one will do this. But there's always gonna be that person that's gonna sign Squeaker as a head coach. Like
and that's really their own fault. Like,
but I'm saying to prevent that.
We should advise head coach signing, like, just put out a statement like you should sign somebody who can help you train players, who will be a positive role model to your team, like that kind of stuff. Whereas instead of signing like Tornado as your head coach, and like, okay, Tornado's managers have improved significantly.
First round pick, right?
Oh yeah, the season. Okay, that reminds me. The Season 8 fantasy draft was the biggest clown draft of all time. Every pick in that draft was straight up bad.
It will be
like the first two rounds were just straight up trash.
Like, I think it'll be interesting to do that again, but with new owners and actual like smart people.
These were the top 6 players of this draft: Quiz, John XLI, Strubbick, Ice Mogan, Tornado, and Xavier.
Only one of those have actually been here. Two.
Then in round 2 it was NLJ, Tiresome Guy, Finn Clary, Gentle Ducky, Reckless, Buzz Chow, Surfer, and Ya Boy.
I think especially with the new players, I'm going to promote a fantasy draft and a restart on fantasy draft again next year.
Yeah, it'll be. I think okay. The board and Doug really need to get together this offseason and decide how we're gonna do next season, because there's so many different ways we can do it.
I personally feel like the most ideal way to do like free agents next season would to be in the NBA. You have qualifying offers where you can offer just few of your players to re-sign, and I suggest that you should have like 3 offers max in pre-signing for like head coaches and assistant coaches, but then the rest of your team goes into free agency. And I say this because players can re-sign to your team 100% saying that they fit in the star ratings, but
you think they should be able to entertain other offers as well?
I mean, one, that too, but also, like, a lot of smaller teams that don't have a lot of big names attached to them, complain, like, oh, like, you're just hoarding all the big players. But if they had the opportunity to attempt to get those big players, but then the big players themselves say, like, no, I don't want to be on your team, it's like you can't go against that. Like, there's nothing to create an argument of like, oh, you're hoarding the big players. Like, they said that they don't want to play for you.
I mean, that makes sense, but that could also be discouraging towards those owners.
Exactly.
It might be discouraging. Yeah, like, listen, it might be discouraging, but at least it's truthful. It's not creating the scenario where it's like a what if. It's like that is the facts.
When I say thing is truthful, we gotta think about biases, dog. You gotta think that. Let's say it like this. There's people out here who are biased against Ash. We all know that. There's people out here who are biased against Doug. We all know that. Not trying to glove myself here, but I do have biases. People bias me. People bias everyone else. But more people more like Ash. Sorry to put you on a pedestal, Ash. Are more hated in the league. So like when I think about people, and I'm gonna say like people like me are more connected to certain like users, and will get certain more, I think, bigger names than some other people. Let's say like Garrett. Like if Garrett Crazy owned the team, I think it will get a certain amount of players, yes. But I think over people like me, I don't think they will get. I think easily I can name 4 or 5 stars that will easily, if I send them an offer, they will easily accept it in a heartbeat.
And that's what the star rating exists for, to prevent that from happening ever again.
And that's what I think is wrong. I mean, it's not. It is might be my fault because I'm too friendly and too nice and try to help people out too much. Maybe it's that, or maybe it's I'm super experienced and everyone loves me. I don't know what it is, but I think a fantasy draft will prevent that. I think it will prevent that because you have
fantasy
and
draft.
I know you're like
in practice, the fantasy draft was kind of a disaster.
Yeah, I agree with that because think about it. If you just like do a fantasy draft and you eliminate the players' options to have that freedom of deciding where they're going to play, it's just like they become so unhappy and it creates disaster in the organization itself because
I agree.
you're gonna have players that are gonna be
yeah.
wanting releases. But then the owner here's the thing: players are gonna want releases. Then owners are gonna want to trade those players because they don't want to give them up for nothing. But nobody is gonna give them that trade that they want. So then it's just like hoarding a player on a team that doesn't want to be on your team.
But I think that's strictly because literally the fantasy drafts we had, literally like the people who drafted were actual, like, I don't know what they were doing. They were actually on crack. Like, they were actually on drugs. Like, Carm, you were on drugs. Like, when you drafted last season, you were on drugs. You got to admit this.
When did I draft?
You drafted Tornado as your first pick, and you know you're on drugs. You were on drugs. Out of all the people you could have picked, you picked Tornado. And I don't know if you purposely did this to discredit the fantasy draft, but you obviously were made the most stupidest choice. Not trying to diss to Xavier, but Xavier made another stupid choice right after that. We gave the worst. We gave the newer people. We gave, hey, here we get the first. Let y'all have the first base. Y'all can get the better players. Here you are, and then y'all go up there and like, oh, I'm gonna be Mr. Retarded right here and f myself right in the butt. Now, it's not my fault that y'all decided to do that. It's not my fault that y'all decided to act like clowns. Y'all are little Antonio Browns. And now you're like, oh, no one's going to sign you anymore because blah, 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 blah. It's your fault. It's not our fault.
That's not the point I'm trying to make. The point I'm trying to make is that if you draft someone to a team where they don't want to be playing and they would rather play somewhere else, like, it creates bad blood between the player and the management of the team. Like, no matter who you draft, good or bad, there's going to be that conflict, and it's going to happen regardless if you do a fantasy draft.
My thing is, if everyone got what they wanted, bro, literally Nas would be literally dominant still right now.
Oh, wait.
Let's be honest here. If everyone got what they wanted, which is rings probably, everyone would be – Nas would still be a dominance in this league, and we will be probably even more in chaos.
Yeah, I mean – honestly, the star rating has been the best thing in terms of balance
that's
ever happened to the RBC. And the star rating directly counteracts the fantasy draft in that it makes it irrelevant. A fantasy draft with a star system is just asking for conflict. That's just kind of stupid.
But my thing is that, okay, even if you want to do
Chris,
I'm opposed.
Think of it like this.
Carm, hold up real quick. But I'm not opposed to not doing a fantasy draft. I just think that a clean slate or a cleaner slate would be worth it.
I mean, we could look into just completely clearing rosters, but I mean, people will just re-sign anyway.
Yeah, I think re-signing is fine. I just don't like having same people on the same team every 4 seasons. You know,
which is why we're rebalancing the star ratings.
Exactly. Continue.
Chris, think of it like this. Free agency is like laissez-faire economics or capitalism.
All right, Karan.
Let me finish.
We all understand what you're saying.
No, just let me finish. Hear me out. The fantasy draft is like socialism. Okay?
Okay.
It's trying to disperse people evenly. Like, you can't do that. You gotta let people have the damn free will.
All right, so you want people to have their own damn free will, but then when Nas starts complaining and other small teams start complaining that Nas is winning everything because these 5 players, these star players with the Nas, and no one wants to go over there anymore. Come on, now you got to think about that. Now again, I'm not opposed to not having. I don't care about. Okay, honestly, I want a fantasy draft, but at the same time, I wouldn't be dissatisfied if we didn't have
fantasy draft.
I'm just more concerned about a fresh start for the team. I want a clean slate, new owners, new teams. Let's get this
Bring
thing
back
started up again.
hydros.
Not a good idea, in my opinion, because I think if different people got drafted to different teams with different coaches, they wouldn't have progressed in the same way they are doing this season. Like,
honestly, going to a fantasy draft would also add to the pitcher league. Because the reason why batters are batting better in the second half of the season is because they formed closer relationships with their coaches in terms of a teacher-student relationship.
And the coaches help them.
And
that's why I said I'm not opposed to. We don't have to have a fantasy draft. I just want a cleaner slate. I don't want this. I'm more concerned about a cleaner slate than I am about a fantasy draft. I don't want to come next year and see. I just don't want to come next year and see, hey, look at there, Smack again. They have the same people: Tornado, Squeaker, Alex, and AJ. Oh well.
I mean,
we are now.
Here's the thing. I think valuing loyalty to a team is important, but then again, I also do support diversification of it all.
First,
My thing is, especially with Ash said, with new people standing out, I think what we're ultimately trying to do is create ultimate competition. Because right now we gotta realize that there's really like competition, but it's literally in one league. There's only
It's a
competition. There's only one. There's a huge gap.
There
right now
was
in the
okay. If the Aces were owned by Bag and Carm to start the season, I think the league would be much closer, just in general. Because the whole turmoil
I
that
disagree
occurred
with that
because of the
still.
Aces in the second half, that caused the Suns and the Mountaineers to get worse.
I don't agree with that because
Really?
I still feel that RL will be as heavily skewed as it is now.
I don't know, boss. Honestly, okay. The reason the ML is stronger than the RL right now is just because I've had all season to build this team. The Aces have only had like 3 series to build their team. And when they have been building their team, they're literally stealing players from other teams, which is making those teams worse.
Yeah, Aqua.
Primarily
Love you.
West Virginia and Unionport. If the Aces had been able to sign their players at the beginning of the season like everybody else, there would be no stealing going on. And those teams would be allowed to develop throughout the entire season. And I feel like it would be overall. I think a lot of the imbalance can be blamed on Smogan showing up saying, I'm a own, and then not showing up like once.
And this is where I'm saying, like, this is where I'm kind of moving into, like you said, just have the owners who have been proven to stay here and been proven to do stuff. Have those owners, 8 teams, have the owners, have the head coaches who are good, effective, and will train. Not no JS's head coach. Sorry, JS. But I'm saying, if we have that, I'm not opposed to having signing again, open again. If Alex and AJ want to keep Mag, I'm fine with that. If Ash and Peyton want to keep RBC, I'm fine with that. If Carmen Bag want to keep that, I'm fine with that. I just want to see. I just want to see. Sorry, go ahead.
The reason I'm saying that open signing is fine for us is just because you're gonna have to keep your team within the star rating system now, and like while multi-season contracts allowed NAS to become a dynasty from season 4 to season 6. That can't happen anymore, because if a player who is a lower star outperforms the higher star players, they won't be able to sign with that team with the same higher star players next season.
What I'm saying is that I think first we need to start top down to the board. Yes, they need to make the adjustments properly and over this season.
The board together is going to think long and hard about star rating and figure
I think
out where everyone
I think with these adjustments, I think teams need to be. I think every player this season, if we're not gonna do a thing where like, hey, you keep 3 players and everybody else on your team is fair game. I think we should give every player the option of just leaving their team.
I mean, every player had the option in the first place. When we said re-signing, the player would have to consent.
Hey, wait.
That's always been part of the plan.
Like,
I agree, but I'm saying like, sorry, I kind of did contradict myself there. My bad. But I'm trying to say, like, I think we should go to a system, where it's like we did last season besides the draft, where you keep a couple, like you keep your main 2 or 3 players, and the rest of your team ships out and create some new faces. Because you still keep that degree of loyalty to your players, but you still, new players can like go new places, develop there. You know what I mean? Like you see what I'm saying?
Okay, but like what I'm saying with the whole star rating thing, I'm gonna give an example. This may or may not happen. I have absolutely no idea. But let's give an example of me and my team. If Broken Elias gets moved up to a 5 or 4 star, then I will have to choose which of my upper stars I want to keep. The other person will go out into the free agency, and the teams who have the ability to can keep their 5s and 4 stars, which will make them ineligible to sign him, meaning that Broken really only has the option to sign with the teams that don't have the 4s and 5 stars.
Wait. I said that's why there needs to be a reward for owners who develop the players to make them good. Like, there should be an option.
Which is why that's why I'm fine with signing lots more, like more people. I mean, maybe we should restrict it to 5s, 4s, and 3 stars. Maybe the 2s and 1s should be unrestricted free agents by default. But 5 4s and 3s, I think you should have the option to re-sign as many of them as you want. Just because the ones that you can't sign due to raises or lowers in the star system will go to other teams who need them more. Whereas in the past, the reason it was only 3 people was because you were literally able to keep Doug, Juice, Arcadian, theoretically me, Carm, and Spartan all on the same team with absolutely no consequence.
I don't even know how that was allowed to pass, but
I mean, it was allowed to pass because it just kind of balanced itself out because Doug was always screaming
What I
super
think-
team at teams who were
I
good.
think what needs to happen is that I think every player that's in RBC needs to get their either their star changed or at least get looked at.
We as a board are going to have a meeting and we're going to look at every single player who has stats this season and we're going to look at their star rating. How
And you're
many
gonna
players
adjust them
change is a
according-
whole entire other question. But we're going to take a look at it and we're going to see how it goes. Like, most of the 2 stars on RVC are going to be 3 stars next season. Like,
And I think you need also consider the double star jumping as well. Like uncomparable could easily be a
Uncomp is going to
3-star.
be a 3 or a 4. Like, actually.
It- how heavy is the jumping going to be? Is it going to be conservative or like very like
We're going
aggressive?
to make sure that all of the 5 stars and the 4 stars and the 3 stars and 2 stars and 1 stars have the same range of stats. Like, that's how I did it this season. Like, I was the only person who did star ratings this season. I literally sat
But
down, looked at
let's
all the
be
players
honest,
from
you
last
need-
season, and was just like, yo.
And
And I
be careful
basically
with that,
made all
Carm,
of the-
because you have people like me who are batting like 200, and I can easily fit in with the 2 stars, but you know I have the ability of a 5-star. Like you got.
But I mean, that's also why I'm pushing to take playoff stats this season. Because with players with little to no regular season stats who are going to show in the playoffs and then are going to play next season, it's very important to have how they performed in the playoffs as an aid in restarring them. Like, Amazing B with their current stat line, 4-star, easy. But we're not going to rate him a 4-star. Because he's probably not going to perform as well in the playoffs. Just because he's against NAST and not the Unionport Suns. But we as a board will have a big talk about it. The off-season board meeting is going to have a lot of different topics, and what we decide will ultimately be released when we decide it. But what else we got in the chat?
I think that's really it, honestly.
Alright, once Carm comes back, me and him are going to talk about our numerical rating system real quick.
He's
And
coming
then-
back.
Yeah, he'll be back in a couple minutes.
All right, cool.
Oh, just here's a topic. What did you think about Aqua and moving to Aces?
I think that was a very that's cowardly. I think cowardly.
That's
I think that's something that you just can't do as an owner, and you shouldn't be allowed to do that.
Yeah, I mean, that's another thing that I personally am going to bring up to the off-season board meeting, is that we need to establish a precedent and a regulations for team owner behavior in that regard.
Yeah, also Spart too, but it wasn't really under the same
Spart was
scenario.
fine because I was there to pick it up the whole time. Like, I was basically the owner anyway.
I know, but that's annoying when you say when like one of the best players says, "Oh, I'm not gonna play," but then they come and face you.
I mean, yeah, that's definitely annoying, and I feel like there should definitely be regulations and stuff about that.
Because now it's my problem that they decide to come back and kind of chase for that ring, you know?
Yeah.
Let me say it like this. I do agree. Like I should never came back. I don't think I should. Honestly, I do think it's fair that I came back. I mean, to you, it's really not because let me say it like this. You
keep hitting 1 for 11.
They didn't really concerned about that, but I think what it does do is because literally on that team, you literally have Carm, you have Uncle Pearl maybe, Bag maybe, especially with your team. I think it adds a level of competition now, and it leads to a level of competition that make you're not going to be certainly win. Like you're not 100% certain you're going to win. Like you probably might have passed, but I think that it adds more competition now.
That's not something I really honestly want.
That's not really on level with what I'm saying about the team owner behavior thing. Like, Spark coming back is less of him as an owner and more of him as a player. He didn't really know how much free time he had. Like, he was effectively non-existent other than, like, I am the owner of the Rock Valley Cougars, until he re-signed with the Aces. And like,
I
it's
only played one
effectively
of
him coming out of hiatus, which he's fine. I'm just talking about being
Well-
being the active team owner, and leaving and releasing yourself. That's the thing that I'm really like.
Wait, but but it was annoying me because I knew something was up when he was just dodging me for game times, like in that series that we played against them pretty recently.
Yeah.
He said he was going to be out of town, and then he showed up for the Aces games. So it's something that's going to confuse me for a while.
But I think, personally, that you should not be able to release yourself as a team owner. I think that's like the first thing that we should.
And the fact that someone was flexing about, like, messaged me and said you should look at transactions, buddy. Like, really? Is that really necessary?
Yeah.
Just something that's just not that shouldn't be a thing.
But
I think what you say is like, I think you're stuck in that team regardless. If you're playing on that team, I think you should ride or die on that team regardless.
I mean, we already passed.
I think that the board needs to bring that up, especially if you're playing on a team and you're playing that team for like a certain amount of time. I think you need to be stuck in that team until.
I hopped back in for a few seconds because I'm eating dessert and like I'm chilling with my parents right now.
Okay.
Give me a second. You
So-
kind of.
How long are you gonna be till you're available, Kern?
I mean, ideally, can we just do it now? Because I don't really think I'm going to be able to get back on
Okay.
the
Yeah.
stream.
Well, let's
Go
take
ahead, go
a quick pause on that real quick. And we're just gonna talk about the overall ratings. We're only gonna read the top 10 for each category.
Or should we just do top 5 to leave that animosity in the bottom 5?
Here, you know what I'll do? I'll go right here. Right, 1, 2, 3, and I'll show the
So-
top 5 on the screen.
Yeah, show that.
Okay, then I'll make all these black. View, zoom in. Okay,
So,
1 sec. Let me pull
These-
it over. Okay.
these are your top 5 statistical leaders in each category. Is there anything? The Fox Sports RBC. You will find out at once Mac and Nas play their final game, and the board approves the ratings 100%. Because I want to bring this up during a board meeting just to get their full approval on these, but unofficial, but most likely definite because these are approved by Ash and Doug so far.
Ash was trying to bring down my fielding rating down. I saw the comment.
Yes, but other than that, these are the top 5. Unconfirmed, but probably will be the final ratings for each of these players in each category. So, what do you guys think? Do you guys have any surprises in those
Feller.
top 5?
Rockefeller.
He's gone.
Any snubs?
Rockefeller is not in the top 5 in
Gone now?
any of
Good.
these.
He was. Wait, what are you showing? Send me
Top
it.
5. It's on Look at Stream. But
Oh, alright.
Bro, I'm looking at the stream and there's just nothing on it.
Nothing.
I forgot to change my screen back to.
Oh my!
There you go.
Oh my!
Alright,
God! Oh
yeah,
my God!
Here's your top 5.
All right. Now people can see what the word is.
Oh, this? Oh. Yeah, I saw this already. But he was like a 90 overall.
Yeah, we're gonna look at the ratings and iron out some differences that we found in the final couple series. So I think we set these up at the end of Series 6.
Series 7.
It was after
Middle-
game 1 of Series
the
7
start,
is when we really finished.
Yeah, but also we need to factor in the fact that these have been edited throughout the series. Hey, Raxos, chill out, my guy. 97 is a very good rating.
It's better than you, and you're 99.
I'm a 99 because I can actually go to any team and be able to produce there.
All right, we're not
And-
talking about the pitcher type debate anymore.
Here I'll also add this for those of you who are listening right now. The worst overall player in the league is Ryan Wilson with a 61 overall.
I'm second.
to put that in comparison, the second worst player has 11 overall points better.
Yep.
So I'm at 80 overall.
That is some fact for your mind.
Mm-hmm.
So you're saying I'm not at 70
I'm gonna
overall?
pull up. Should I pull up the top 10 overall players? Here, I'll pull up the 90 to 97 players for overall. Is that fine, Carm? The 90 plus people. Hello.
Just do it. Whatever.
All right, he's gone. I'm doing it anyway.
Yeah,
All right.
no, just do it.
So the
Just
top,
do it.
the top people from worst to best is Alex at a 90.1, Peyton at a 90.7, on Darkheart at a 90.7 as well, Uncomp at a 92.3,
And
Duck
here's
at a
the
93.7, AJ at a 94.8, and then the 95s plus is 95.7 for Juice, 96.7 for Carm, and then a 97 for myself.
Here's a crazy fact. Among players rated from 85 to 99,
Here it is.
Uncomparable is the
Aces.
only
Oh my
rookie.
gosh. Best player. MVP.
Uncomparable is the only rookie within the 85 to 99 overall range.
Where's Crazy at?
I mean, it is worth a point that Amazing Bee was not included due to the latency of their appearance.
You guys have to understand something real quick, is that a lot of players on UPS and West Virginia do not have ratings. Like, West Virginia only has 2 players with a rating because due to team reforms after the deadline was made.
Yeah.
Fox,
Squeaker, you're not batting 529.
Squeaker, that is not true.
I
You were
identified
batting
a thing where
0.294.
somebody
0.294.
somebody had edit access to the spreadsheet and changed this bad boy to anyone with the link can edit the spreadsheet. If I ever figure out who it is, I'm going to beat them within an inch of their life. And I found at least 20 different stats that were changed, including Rockefeller's batting average, which is actually a 333, not a 667.
That was not me, because he didn't even show up today, so I didn't put him in.
And also your Squeaker. You're at 294. Not 567, not 529. But I reverted all of those changes, and this is
can I
back
see my
to
stats
accurate
real quick?
stats.
Oh, wait.
143.
Wait, I have a question.
What?
So, I realized how the signing of Flacco was really like scrutinized. You know why? Like, why are you guys?
He got suspended for not playing for Unionport, and then when he was re-signed to Unionport to serve his suspension, as soon as he served his suspension, he didn't show up to any games, and then he got released and was like, "Yo, bet," and then signed with one of the best teams in the league. We're giving him exactly what he wants in terms of toxicity, and it's just encouraging more.
Yeah. He wasn't toxic at the first game.
No. Listen.
He wasn't toxic, but his overall actions as a player in free agency.
Yeah. I was about to say that one game, sure, he may not have been toxic, but he has. I think it's fair to say that he has a reputation as being one of the toxic, if not most toxic player consistently in the league, because he has already faced 2 exiles and has came back from them. Like him pulling this kind of stuff and then rewarding him by putting him on a World Series, and
that's why nobody else offered him.
Yeah, because you told me not to sign him too. That was funny.
Yeah, because we didn't want to fuel the flames, because putting him on a team where he is getting exactly what he wants is telling other players, oh yeah, you can be toxic and you can do exactly that and you'll get an offer. Like, that's not the message we
I'm
want to be
getting what I
sending.
want. I'm getting a 400 hitter. So
I mean, obviously, but
Not against Carmel, boy.
all right, let's take
Keep
this
it
to
one
the
game.
let's take that to the RLCS boys.
All right.
Let's move on.
Anyway, I gotta hop off for the night. If I do
Okay.
have time and the stream is still running, I'll come back. But I'm gonna be
This will
with my
probably be
family
done
for a
in the
little bit.
next
So
15 minutes ish.
yeah, so I'm gonna spend some time with my family. But if I don't, have a great rest of the night, you cuties.
All
okay.
right, see you, Carm. Anyway, we got anything else? We're still hovering around 10 viewers. What do y'all think we should talk about? What were we talking about before Carm came back?
ratings.
What was that?
Ratings, I think.
No, before ratings.
Oh. The owner rule, I think.
Ah, yes. So here, let me read the thing that I wrote down. Set regulations for team owners that discourage turnaround and help ensure that owners understand their responsibility. Some of the suggestions that I made included banning team owners from free agent signings after they step down for a certain period of time. Entirely banning the self-release unless you're retiring. Or just any other things that would just overall discourage team owners from showing up, team owning, or owning a team for like 3 series and then just like leaving.
Yeah.
And I included non-crisis step downs. If you are going through something in your life and you will be inactive for a extended period of time, then it is perfectly understandable that you would not want to own your team anymore. Which is why I said that if that's happening, then you can leave peacefully. Provided, of course, you don't appear a day later and be like, I'm open for offers. But is this needed on the podcast? I mean, it's just something interesting about the league. I would talk about this even if I wasn't on the board. Just setting the future. And, we'll see how everything in terms of leadership goes. Because leadership is something in the RBC that has been very, very interesting to look at in general. What you think? Spart? Alex? Y'all still there?
Mm-hmm.
Give me a second. You go.
What are y'all thinking about just everything in general?
Walking down, hold on.
I think, like we said earlier this season when we were talking about RBC.
That is something I will not discuss, Squeaker.
Like,
Sorry, go ahead, Spart.
I think that this season is going to be a turning point.
you're still down here?
It's going to be it's a very exciting year.
No, I was trying to talk. No, I'm
Sorry.
good.
Go ahead, Spart.
I was saying that this year is going to be a very exciting year because, we have a special draft class for RBA coming up soon. Hopefully, if everything goes smoothly. But if my board can get it together, right, Alex? But the team by that, but RBA is going to start coming out with their draft classes soon.
Back to chairman.
We're gonna have hopefully we're gonna have a wider team, more people, more players. I think this time when we're expanding, I think this is our biggest chance of getting it right, and I'm so excited for that.
Yeah. And while the draft will have significantly less, what's the word? Like
I think
importance
overall.
or weight than in the past, due to the fact that it's just RBAA players, I still think that it will be important that teams get a good draft so they can work on the future of their team. Oh, this is something that I wanted to talk about before. The star system heavily encourages the development of players. Whereas
Only for one season.
I mean, it will in the future too. Like in the past, I developed my players in seasons 3, 4, 5, and 6. That was my main style. Then in season 8, I rolled up and I said, I'm going to build a team out of players that are already good. And then I did. And then this season rolls up, and you can't do that and be as successful anymore. Because if you just sign old tricks, they're going to perform to their star rating, or maybe even a little bit lower. Whereas if you sign Cheese, like Broken, or if you sign kids like Amazing B, Admin Reeves, and like even Jif and people who you can sign as a 1 or a 2 star and then train up to perform like a 3 or 4 star, that's what wins you games in the star rating system. And those
Can't- I
players
can-
can then
yeah.
move on and become leaders and great players on their teams, which is
I
another
agree.
beauty of the STAR system that I think really kind of goes unmentioned in comparison to just balancing out the team skill-wise. It's that it really just encourages the development of players, which is a reason why I was honestly perfectly fine with the Aces signing Spart. Just because
about-
the Aces spent their whole season developing the rookies and their 2-stars. And while they only have 2 rookies left on the roster, it's still worth mentioning that they left the 5-star spot open the whole season, while still remaining relatively competitive. Can we ban
Still.
2-way players? What does that even mean?
Like 2-way players, as in like playing RBC and they could get called
Oh,
up. from
I
RBC,
mean,
playing RBA.
next season, once
We can
the
experiment.
RBAA
Dude.
is like up and running on its own, probably. I feel like that's something that Spart should definitely look into doing.
It's like
I'm
dying.
definitely- I definitely think me and Alex and the board. I think.
I mean,
we're definitely
honestly,
gonna get that
There
once-
needs to be better ownership.
Once
Yes,
that-
I think.
once better ownership is acquired and once RBAA is up on its feet and running at full potential, then I think that banning 2-way players is an inevitability. However,
Because like they're way too good. Like
yeah, I mean they are good, but they're still not.
Just
They're
too
still
good.
decent to good
Well,
in the
let me
RBC.
say it like this. I would say 2-way players as in something like as a team who has a 1-star spot open and they want to test out a player. And I'll say like they'll call up RBA.
I mean, yeah,
player.
maybe if they were okay, I think in the future if they were in the RBAA prior to doing the RBC that
True.
season, then they should be potentially allowed to. But I don't
Oh,
think like this season, like going forward after this RBAA season ends, I don't think people like Admin Reuse, Amazing B, even John XLI or a Cool Boy should be able to go down unless they're not
Yeah.
on an RBC roster at all.
there's gonna be a big problem though. If there is sending people down, people will just get really mad at the owners and just try to get a release like right away.
And then they'll
Like-
be a free agent.
But the problem is
Because who wants to sign
then they'll be
an angry one
then
star?
they're gonna they will become toxic. Just like that's how you make toxic players.
Oh yeah, I mean that's definitely the case, but I don't think that sending down should be a thing unless we opt for a directly affiliated minor league. And I
That's not a thing yet.
I don't want to do a directly affiliated minor league because honestly, the college style that they're doing now is much more motivating for players because getting drafted is exciting. And
Yeah,
if you're
yeah,
waiting
yeah.
to get called up, you're really just waiting on a roster spot to open, and that's kind of boring. Like, at least if you're staying on the team the whole season, you're building a better coach-player relationship in RBAA as opposed to going up and down and up and down, and that'd be dumb. But and also, I would like to give a quick shout out to somebody that I'm almost certain is not watching this podcast. But this dude Carson Sports 1 on the Concord Colts is like spamming the Concord Discord channel, just like, can we have a training please? And I'm just like, this guy knows how to do it. Like, you gotta have the work ethic to get better and to like try.
Gotta be motivated.
You have to have
That's all you
motivation,
need.
exactly.
That's all you need. And
Yeah,
you can be hitting 400 in like a few series.
Once everyone gets down to it, like, I think this kid Carson, once he gets a coach to help him out, then like, I feel like he could be a very solid rookie next season. But like, it's really just all about work ethic and how much you're willing to try, especially in the RBAA.
Can I give a shout out also to Mr. Panda, who stepped up as an official, who no one knew this season, but he's an official for RBAA, and I think he's really determined and committed to the RBA task as well. I think he's doing a pretty good job as well.
As an umpire?
No, as in he's helping out with training.
Oh,
I think
okay.
he's very dedicated to RBAA and RBC as a whole. I think he's gonna go out for the draft this year, so hopefully watch out for him.
Yeah. But
I
yeah,
think-
the
I think
RBAA
that's-
is definitely interesting. I hope the board kind of like improves as a whole, but that's,
Wow, I see how it is.
that's separate of what's important right now. What's important right now is just
Just that we
getting
end this
everything
season
ready
calling it a night.
for the RBC playoffs, which are going to be very exciting, very close, very competitive, and it'll all come down, honestly, in this pitchers league. It'll all come down to how they're feeling that day and how the outfield responds to certain players. Like, honestly, if the Cougars outfield can feel juice, NASA's done. Like, Juice has at least half of NASA's hits as an entire team. Or not at least half. He's like a third of their hits as an entire team. And
This is why I'm going to NAS next season.
it's really all
They
about
said Mac
how
earlier.
the pitcher and the defense can respond to certain players and how they've just been playing this whole season. And, like, it'll just be about the Cougars shutting down Doug and Juice. It'll be about the Spartans shutting down myself, Broken Elias, Me Man, and Darkhar. It'll be about the Knights shutting down specifically Carmen Uncomparable, and it'll be about the Aces shutting down AJ and Tortle. Like, it's really... Playoffs are all about defense shutting down offense. Offense can only do so much because it's just all about defense.
I really missed the wild card round. That's something I'm gonna miss this year.
I mean, I hope we get back to 4 teams next season so we can have the division series. And I was kind of hoping that the Mountaineers could win a game so that they would play against the Aces in a 1-game wild card for the last playoff spot, just for fun.
Yeah. You never know. Yeah.
That reminds me of the season 3 3-team round robin for playoff spots. Not many people remember that. Like, hold up, this is in the legacy spreadsheet going all the way back.
Yo,
So,
Ash.
yeah.
Yo, I think we can start wrapping this up soon.
Yeah, soon. I just want to say this real quick.
Go ahead.
To end the season, the Aces, Crosscutters, and Warriors all finished 5-11, and they tied for the final playoff spot. And so there was a literal round robin in order to decide who would get swept by the Warriors or the Warhawks in the first round. And that was.
And did they get swept?
Yes.
Oh God.
But regardless, that was a lot of fun, and I miss stuff like that in the RBC.
It's interesting.
Yeah, but is there anything else that you guys would like require us to talk about? Because we're about to hit 2 hours, and that's like overkill for these kind of podcasts.
Exactly.
So unless there's anything else that you guys need, Me Man
Doesn't look
wrote an
like it.
essay in the chat. Hold on.
3 sentences. So in summary, he's just like saying RVC is good. Okay.
Communication is important. Yes, I agree.
That's true. That's very true.
I don't know how many teams use voice chats in game, but the Cougars definitely
Don't.
do.
Knights don't.
That's very interesting, actually.
Squeak. Well, besides like Squeak and Torn, who just yell at each other, but in there, and it's like, you know, what's the highest pitched instrument in like
Hey,
an
who-
orchestra?
Probably like the piccolo.
Yeah, that's correct.
It's like if they were playing piccolos, but they were talking, you know,
just like
it's like that. The first game, I swear.
It's like 2 dolphins.
The first game,
Go ahead, sorry.
the first game, Squeak was like screaming when he was pitching. He was like, "That's me."
yeah.
I hit the home run, and he was like flipping shit in the background. It was crazy. But that's the only time we use voice chat at all.
You're saying it's like 2 dolphins arguing at each other, but they're using like the
There's Cyber.
hip-hop
Cyber
voice
would join, and he's
amplifier.
like, "Yeah, Cyber would join." And he's like, "I love Sonic." Like, I don't.
It really depends on the
Okay.
group of guys, because, like, if you can keep your team focused in a voice call, then it's definitely conducive to, like, winning. But if it's distracting, then it's counterproductive.
Squeak, bro. He yells. I swear.
That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. But yeah, coaching as a whole has evolved a lot. But yeah, I think that's it from us tonight. It's been a long stream today, and
Yeah. Well, thanks for having me on.
yeah, of course. It was great having you, Spart, and Karm back. Hold up. Yeah. I'm very excited as the RBN owner, commissioner, leader guy to just like be able to stream and broadcast these games and put them down in the video logs just for everyone to look and see and watch in the future, looking back. But
Yeah, it's neat. Yeah, I look back at some of the games.
These playoff games will be extremely exciting, and I'm looking forward to watching them, playing in them, and everything. But yeah, cool. That'll be all from us tonight. Thank you all for watching, and we'll see you probably maybe right before the World Series. I think is the next podcast, either right before the World Series or like at the end of the season. But yeah, thank you all for watching, and have a good night.